I recently contacted my new friend, Ron Suttell. He's a 40-plus year veteran executive with Alaska Airlines. He began his career in Juneau, Alaska in 1971 in the height of the Golden Nugget era as an air cargo agent. I was familiar with his website article he had written showing the list of pre-2025 cards Alaska has put out. He has some incredible history behind these pre-2025 cards, as well as some great scans. I was born in Juneau, Alaska, and very familiar with the Alaska Airlines flying in and out of Juneau. Ron Suttell is also very familiar with Juneau. It was there he began saving various postcards, tags, brochures, and cargo stickers, starting his love for airline collectibles and airline history. He was a major contributor to several publications, Alaska Airlines, a visual celebration, an 80th anniversary commemorative pictorial history book. He provided historical materials for two of Robert J. Sterling's books on airplanes, Character and Characters, The Spirit of Alaska Airlines, and When the Airlines Went to War. Suttell consulted with the authors on historical details, editing accuracy, and provided many of his own personal photos while generously sharing his lifetime Alaska Airlines memorabilia collection for use in the books. Besides these three books, he also contributed to many other books, magazines, and articles. He was interviewed and featured in a 1994 Tacoma News Tribune Sound Life article on the airline memorabilia hobby. Suttell received the Alaska Airlines 2008 Customer Service Legends Award, the highest form of recognition for his career of dedication, accomplishments, and contributions to the company. This award is only given to a select few airline employees annually. He retired from Alaska Airlines in 2012 and currently resides in Tacoma, Washington. So why am I telling you all this? Having always been an avid collector from his childhood days, whether it is cereal box toys, stamps, coins, postcards, buttons, photos, books, baseball cards, and sports memorabilia, Suttell enjoyed hoarding collections of this priceless stuff in his home. He maintains a sizable collection of airline and sports memorabilia today. So Ron is a certified airlines collectibles nut, just like us. Ron is a member of Alaska's Historical Archives team, a small group of current and former employees who meet regularly to go through decades of old photos and Alaska Air Group memorabilia, like Alaska, Horizon, Hawaiian, and all the merged legacy carriers in their history, like Jet America, Virgin America, Alaska Coastal, Ellis, Cordova, and Alaska Star Airways, to name a few. He began collecting memorabilia on behalf of the airline in the 1970s, and as others heard of his collections, they gave him items and the collection grew. He became a go-to source for historical information of Alaska Airlines. You can find postcards and other Alaska memorabilia on eBay with his name credited on the back. Ron worked with an ad agency, Cohen Dwyer, that produced all of the original Alaska Airlines collector cards. Also a photographer, he helped in their production by writing the narratives on the back of Alaska Airline cards and contributing photos. On the back of many collector cards, you will see his name credited. So join me today as we head to the last frontier and talk about the origins of these Alaska Airline trading cards. Alaska issued 3 vintage Alaska Airlines trading cards, the Belanca Skyrocket, the Douglas DC-3, and the Boeing 727-90C. That's the Golden Nugget. They were in a retro sepia style photo. They were released in 1996. They were intended as promotional giveaways to celebrate Alaska's upcoming 65th anniversary. While probably not handed out by pilots, they were given out free by Alaska, and therefore some of the earliest airline cards handed out for free. They are larger than a typical baseball card at about 3.5 by 4.5 inches. On the back of each one, they are advertising an upcoming 25 card set to be released in the fall of 1997. And as promised, Alaska did release that set. Produced in 1997 to commemorate Alaska's 65th anniversary, it is a set that often gets overlooked. Not really pilot cards per se, because they were sold as a box of 25. They were more traditional baseball card size. They were numbered 1 to 25. They feature planes that go back to the beginning of Alaska Airlines' inception. There's also a promo card for this set, released prior, of an Alaska Vintage Lockheed Lodestar. It is similar to the set cards, but slightly different. It has the black border instead of the blue border, characteristic of the 25 card set. Also, it has the Alaska's World logo along the top. We'll see that logo later on as cards as well. Alaska's World was the ad campaign at the time that these cards were printed. For true collectors of Airlines cards, this set is just as important. Just like the Hawaiian set issued in the 1990s, these earned their place in the Alaska cards checklist. The cards came in small cellophane wrapped packages. They kind of looked like playing cards, but they definitely were not. I'll pull up a scan of what they looked like. They are labeled Collector Card Series. Notice the one on the right has a gold sticker. That signified they were a limited release of a gold embossed set. The words Alaska Airlines on the front of each card are an eye-catching gold. Other than that, they are identical to the regular blue titles set. According to Ron, they are more rare than the original, but we're not sure how rare. They are difficult to find. Alaska has several sets stored in their archives. Originally, they had sold them in their stores, then were relegated to giveaways at picnics, fairs, promotional events, etc. Since they feature the old Alaska logo, the company no longer promotes them. Currently, there are some examples of individual cards showing up on eBay. These are some great looking cards. I had to have them in my collection. There is one other one-off odd-sized card in this series. That's the 737 that was retired from the fleet in 2007 and donated to the Alaska Transportation Museum at Anchorage International Airport. The card depicts the same image as appears on the 737 in the box set, but with the title 1981 to 2007 above the plane. This card was printed locally by the Alaska Airlines Anchorage cargo team for distribution to local staff and cargo customers, and is slightly larger than the baseball card size, but presumably it was meant to be like trimmed down. It was produced in 2007. Only a limited number of them were printed. While it is printed number 24 of 25 on the back, it is very unique and rare and shouldn't be mistaken as being released with the set. We designate this card as number 24-07 to prevent confusion. It was not gold embossed and not a card you will likely see on eBay anytime soon. The producer of these cards was J&W Productions. Ron worked with Jim Price personally, the owner of J&W, on these cards. Price recently passed away just a couple years ago. J&W is probably most well known for the Thunder on the Water series of 7 different sets of unlimited hydroplane collector cards, including the Miss Everett hydroplane from the 1960s that sported the Alaska Airlines logo on the tail. Most people aren't aware that the Alaska Airlines mechanics based at Payne Field were the volunteer crew for that hydroplane. Pretty cool. Following the collector set of 25 cards, Alaska Airlines, with Ron's help, produced a ton more cards. These were pilot cards, meaning you could approach the pilot and ask for a card for free. They featured famous Alaska liveries with excellent color photos and plain facts on the back. Alaska's marketing department and ad agency originally came up with the idea to distribute these cards to the public. So having collected sports cards himself, Ron advised Alaska that they should produce these cards in like a baseball card size and texture. He said this was what true collectors were into, thus the production of the 25 card set in 1997. However, Alaska continued to issue the large format cards after that and did not produce the baseball card size again until 2025. I did cover that in a former video with those 2025 cards. Check that one out when you get a chance. The bigger cards were produced from 1996 to 2013. They measured 3.5 by 4.25, about a quarter inch shorter than the original 96 release. Here's a 96 card. They are bright and colorful, but the cardstock is thin and can be difficult to keep in mint condition. You have to be a little more creative when placing these in card holders. Here's what I use. First, I place them in a large team bag. These are made by BCW. They measure 3 3/8 by 5 inches. These are different than actual team bags. I use that first before placing them into a top loader. Then for top loaders, I use the off-brand 3.5 by 5 inch ones from Amazon. They are perfect. You can carry them around or store them in a box or whatever without having to worry about them getting dinged up. Just to clarify, you can put cards into a team set bag without ever putting them into a top loader, but you shouldn't put cards straight into a top loader without first putting them in something else like a team set bag. And by the way, if you have too many cards that you don't have enough top loaders for, you can store up to 3 cards of each in one of these team set bags. I do that for a lot of my doubles, so I'm not using up all my top loaders. It's a great way to protect them. I believe these cards don't get as much love as smaller cards because of their size and thin cardstock. I've received several from pilots, and they usually are creased and dinged up from being in their carry-on bag. So here's a quick breakdown of the checklist. There were a total of 46 large cards, 25 set of 25 cards. Then we have to include the 25 gold embossed set of 25 cards, the Lodestar promo card, and the super rare 24-07 card. Then the 10 2025 cards. I count 108 cards total. So I haven't uncovered any errors in this card set yet, but there's a few cool variations that we're going to talk about in a future video. I promise you it will be interesting. As we close, I want to mention a couple great resources. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there is a page created by Ron, and he's put together a pretty cool checklist with scans and facts for these Alaska cards. I'll show you what it looks like and put the link in the description. It's an amazing resource in the research of these cards. Also, pilotcardguys.com. We have a work in progress list of these cards with scans. James and I have put a lot of work into it, and I think you'll enjoy it. And by James and I mean James. He has spent a lot of time on it. Thank you, James. I want to thank James. I want to thank Caren for bringing this up. Thank you. And most of all, I want to thank Ron Suttell for giving me some great resources, great emails, photos. I appreciate you, Ron. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and safe travels.